Hello, friends, and welcome to a replay analysis. We got a Herald 2 game. Whoa, is this new? Is it fixed? Can you actually see the heroes now, even when a game's loaded? Well, that's the most exciting thing we're gonna learn today, guys. Anyways, Herald 2, Jakiro replay. It was Herald 2, right? I got distracted by looking at heroes. Yeah. All right, so you said the main thing you want to focus on is identifying what to improve on. I think that's a great goal. Let's see. Itemization looks great. Starting items looks solid. Decent regen. Thinking about a sentry because you have an anti-mage in this lane. I think if you're just buying it randomly, that's the logic behind it. You can't really... I don't know. Because this is a Herald game, it's not clear who's going to be in your lane. I will say, though, if you can ever tell that a Zeus or a Necrophos is going to be in your lane, it can be okay to start with a magic stick because these guys cast a pretty solid amount of spells. Plus, like, Disruptor, if he's here, he'll cast some spells. Spirit Breaker won't cast too many, but, like, you'll get a couple from his charges. So if you wanted to go for a magic stick versus Necrophos or Zeus, and if you knew they're going to be in your lane, I think that'd be okay too. In this game, for example, you could... Let's see, probably sell a Mango, sell a Clarity. It's a tough call, actually. I'm trying to decide, like, if you would trade the Sentry or the Salve, and then buy one afterwards. I kind of think the Sentry, you know, for your MMR, are people blocking the small camp, right? So maybe you could skip it for now, right? You could probably use that dual breath a little sooner, but you hit him, and you're gonna get the kill from it, so I think it's fine. But the sooner you use it, you also get the benefit that you'll regen a little bit more mana. A very minimal amount in this case. You'd probably get like 5 more mana, but every little bit. Sir? Weaver? What? Weaver? What? He's going back! Ah, well. You knew. That's all that matters. You were like telling him, and you thought he was gonna get it. I think that's fine. All right, let's speed up. All right, creeps meeting outside the tower. So, who got it right? Who knew that it was going to be a Luna Zeus lane? All right, so creeps end up under our tower. We'll think about pulling. You do have this ward, by the way, which I think you should have placed a little sooner. Placing it now, if they clicked on you, they would know that, all right, he showed. So let's actually... Where's Dire perspective? Let's pretend we are the Dire. Let's go back a second. All right, I'm the Dire right now. I can see your hero up to here. Now, if they're clicking you right then, I don't know. But, like, they click you in the lane. You go, blah, blah, blah. In that case, he actually got vision from Bolt. That's a little uncommon. But let's say they didn't click on you in time. Now they click you, and suddenly they notice you have no wards left. So, the last time they checked you, the lane was here. Now you're re-showing here. Not all that long. A lot of time hasn't passed. So, like, where is the ward likely to be? It's probably around here. Probably around here. Like, one of these two areas. And that's, like, how far you could have gotten. And it'd be weird. It would be weird, right? For you to ward here. So, it's like, it's got to be here or here. And they have a Zeus who has Bolt. So, you kind of need to place the ward in a bit of a weird spot to not let it get dewarded right away, especially against the Zeus. You didn't know Zeus is going to be here. Maybe that's why you were holding the ward a little bit. But actually what I would recommend, I would have thought Spirit Breaker would have been down here. And because of that, Spirit Breaker likes to roam. And so a good spot, if you're worried about Zeus and you don't want to place it like in this area, you could put it like over here. Or heck, you guys invaded and you kind of had good control of this area for a bit. You could have put it here or here. And it's just to spot the Spirit Breaker rotating in, right? Where's he... When he goes between lanes, how's he run? He runs like this through the rivers usually. Now, good Spirit Breakers will move back a little further, like, so that they come in through the jungle a bit. Or, sorry, you're Radiant. So he'd, like, walk in here, and then he charges. Well, hopefully not through the outpost. But, like, he walks back here, charges at a weird angle. But at this rank, many people just, like, go between lanes. And that means any ward in the river will help you spot the Spirit Breaker rotating, and that could save your life. All right, full pull. Yeah, this is good. Double check the lane as you do the pull. When you hit the camp and you're walking down, that's like 5 seconds. You don't really need to do anything. So in that time, I like to make a habit of going to go check the lane just to make sure, right? Because you can still change your mind. You can be like, oh, this is actually a bad pull. They're pushing. I'll stop here. So get in the habit after you hit this, and then you click down here. So it goes like this. Right-click this creep. Right-click down here on the minimap. Then come click the lane. Look here. And go, yeah, this is fine. Whatever button you have to go back to your hero, boom, you're probably like around here, and now you complete the pull. If you see that they're shoving and you're like, oh no, terrible idea, snap back to your hero and then like click back up here so that the pull doesn't finish. Or you can transition between like half pull, full pull, stuff like that. But that's a good habit to get into. But either way, good pull. And just to show everyone else why that was a good pull, the full pull got away because it was pushed up here. Now the creeps return to lane, and look at that. We're pretty much at equilibrium. It's shoving a little bit because of the way the creeps met, but the important thing is that the enemy creeps did not walk under tower. So although this will push slightly, it's not terrible, and you just, in fact, have just another opportunity to pull now, and you should be fine from there. This is pretty good so far. The only real critique I had was about these wards. Okay, I'm down for it. The small pull would have been a little better to do either a half pull or a full pull, because look where Luna's standing. She may not even know you did a pull, but she's getting some XP from this stuff as they die. So the small pull would have been better, but I think you identified you weren't going to make it in time, so you did a hard pull, and I think all in all, that's better than not doing a pull, even though they're going to get some XP. Just make sure... Okay, anti-mage went down there. Okay, see, they're not even contesting you, so it's totally fine, actually. But yeah, so they did get a little bit of XP, so that's why the small camp would be a little better. And then you could, like, if you did the half pull, you could stack it at the 3-minute, and now you can, like, completely deny creeps over there, and they never know anything, because they didn't even notice you doing this hard camp pull. So I don't know if they'd notice you doing a small camp pull. You're gonna miss. This is actually too soon, I think. Just in time. All right, that was right on the edge. I recommend going for like a hit between 53 and like 54 to do the stack. You hit at like 52, and that was like right on the edge of the stack. I think other camps might not work. So go for 53 or 54. That'll be safer, but great work on stacking. I wasn't sure if you were going for the pull or the stack. All right, this is going to be excellent, guys. I don't even need to show you what Jakiro's doing right now. So the lane's going to hold out here for a little bit. Not as long as we wanted to, because they started to push. Oh, Zeus this time is suspicious. He's like, what's going on here? But look, two creeps already died. One just died as he got here, so he got a little bit of XP. But now, getting his ass kicked by Jakiro, the range creep dies out of XP. You could probably stack again if you wanted to, or just go for the runes. So far, though, I think this laning is excellent. Like, this is above Herald laning. I mean, look at your anti-mage compared to these guys. Yeah, they're not doing, like, the best stuff. But you've denied a good amount of XP. Look at your... What the hell buttons? The... XPR. Anti-mage way up here. You're at the bottom. But, like, you're not that far from Luna and Zeus. So... He pretty much has the same XP as they do, and then you've got another bit. You're doing excellent in this lane so far. So I think this is really good. I mentioned some stuff you can do better, but honestly, if you kept playing like this for Herald, I think you're already above Herald. So let's see. As we keep going, I'm going to be looking for other stuff that maybe you mess up. Let's see. Got Windlace. You could maybe harass them a little bit more, but like honestly, I don't mind what you've done. Oh yeah, don't let them steal the stack, so this is good. Oh, so close. That's okay. Chased him away. Yeah, so now you know. So I'm gonna see what you do here. Before I say this, actually. You're doing a pull. Nice, you finished up the kill. Okay, so it is working out. If the camp is big enough to kill your creep wave, Once they discover you have a stacked camp, and you saw him trying to steal it, we don't want that to happen. You'll know he'll try again later. So what I like to do then in those cases, when I do the next pull, I just kill the camp off. In this case, you've got plenty of regen. You can pop your clarity. Use dual breath if you need to, depending on how many creeps are there. Maybe just the liquid fire is fine, or just auto attack the whole time. But get the camp killed off while he is bullied out, and that way you guarantee I'm denying creeps. I'm getting these like stacked camps all for myself. Zeus isn't stealing them. You use a bit of regen for it, but guess what? You just made some money. You can buy another one. So in this case, it worked out. I don't know if it was an intentional choice or not, so I just want to highlight it. So if it wasn't intentional, make it intentional. All right, you sent this back. You don't have to. You can actually use it on your teammates. You can make the decision on who gets it. So press and hold control, and then whatever the neutral button, whatever you have it bound to. So me, I have it on 2. So for example, I'm you. I pick it up. I look at my team. It's kind of I'm kind of undecided. I don't think Nature's Prophet needs it. So you press and hold control, press 2. If you use quick cast, you like hover over him, do it. If not, if you use normal cast, press control 2 and then click this Weaver, left click him. You'll use it on Weaver. You have another one, Anti-Mage, lucky day for you. Boom, give it to him too. And now you've used the item globally. You don't need to be next to the heroes. All right. So this is the one. This is the first thing we're gonna start improving on. I think your laning is great for your rank. These wards extremely greedy. The first ward also was placed a little carelessly, and now these wards as well. So you've got a Zeus. You know he dewarded the last one, and if he just bolts randomly, if he's going for a last hit and bolts, he might see this ward. And then same over here. If he's like jungling, he might just accidentally get it. In this case, he's intentionally checking it. So you're actually going to lose both of these wards. And if we look at your team's vision, if you're playing down here, you already give vision in this general area. Right? So you're kind of doing the same thing these wards are. Like this ward kind of sees what these guys see. You know, I don't mind the idea of a lane ward to spot Spirit Breaker coming in, but let's say Spirit Breaker comes from the fountain. You see him here. And at that point, you don't have too much time to react. Anti-Mage might blink out, but if you're being charged, if you're here and you see him here, you're probably dead. Or at least charged, and you're going to take the damage. Whereas if you had managed to like sneak your way through the trees, place the ward here, this is less likely to get spotted by Zeus, I feel like. Because the creeps will bounce around here a lot. Well, it's not that weird for it to come up here, but the way Zeus is like pushing the lane with Q or like... Ah, she didn't get Glaves. Oh, good. But I feel like we've seen the lane stay around here a lot, which means Thunderbolt casts will be around here and not here. So this would let you see Spirit Breaker like all the way back here. Lots more time to react. And then less likely to get dewarded. But you only need one ward down here anyway. So like all these other wards, over here would be better. Over here would be better. Up here, actually, this is fine. Or here if you want it to be a little more safe. Here is good against like a Spirit Breaker. Even here is fine against a Spirit Breaker if you're at a high enough level. Like I said, good Spirit Breakers will like come into the jungle and then charge this way because that's a little... the angle's much harder to see than like coming through river. The Spirit Breaker's top this game, so actually you want your other laners to take a ward and like put it here or here to spot Spirit Breaker leaving top lane to mid. So these wards are actually just going to get removed, and they're not going to... Even if they stayed, they're not serving a great purpose. Plus, you've actually done so well in this lane, you're actually close to the point where you could leave the Anti-Mage, and that is when you have the chance to ward. And I would actually say you could leave now. Not just like right now because you killed the Luna, but just like in general, you could have left like a minute ago. Yeah, nice. Use it to kill that creep if you need to. This is a good time to use a Clarity right now, by the way. I think you missed that last hit, but no big deal. Going for the stack, I think. Oops. A little thrown off. If you run down, that's fine. You held it for till the 55. I think that was good, and then you just run straight down. Okay, good. Get the D ward. You did see Zeus place it. So far, you just like killed that creep. It's unfortunate the creep was following you. If the creep wasn't there, you could have left sooner. Oh no! Is it crazy if I tell you I knew a Con Man 1995? This guy's Con Man 1992. What are the odds? So right now you're in the lane a little too long. So, first thing that I think you can start to do that'll improve you massively. Your laning, the first 5 minutes were excellent. That was like far above Herald in my opinion. So, after that, you see the anti-mage, like, he's like level 7 or something, like level 5, whatever. It doesn't really matter the specific levels, just when he becomes safe. And that point was when he was like 2 levels above the other people. So he's like mostly fine. You drop a defensive ward. Zeus in this case makes it a little harder, but 1 defensive ward, you don't need a bunch. So like 1 over here, maybe on the cliff, over here, further out. It kind of depends on the heroes in the game, but like generally a ward somewhere in this area would be appreciated by your carry. And then you walk. You're walking to mid lane. Maybe stack along the way. If you can do something mid, you can do something mid. If not, you're going to walk all the way up here. Again, depending on the timing, maybe you now stack up here. Boom. Tri-lane up here. Pressure this tower. What's going to happen is that you have 3 heroes here against 2, so you're naturally going to win. You're going to be pressuring their carry. You're going to be able to take this tower over time. They're going to feel pressure, and either they'll try to do something 2-on-1 to the anti-mage, but you've already established a lead, so anti-mage doesn't really care. He'll be fine. Or they decide they've got 3 heroes top. I guess we'll go 3 heroes top. So now they bring one of their supports up here. And now you have 1 under-leveled hero here versus your anti-mage. Anti-mage is going to be fine. You guys are going to be 3v3 here, but you already made that other guy under-leveled. So you guys are also ahead in the levels here. And this lane's going to go well. That would be really big. You could have done that about 3 minutes ago instead of staying down here. What? Oh my goodness. I can't believe you lived. Unfortunately, Weaver died. So at this point, anti-mage, you could tell him to like go to the jungle, TP mid, something like that. Because he's like getting contested down here and he doesn't enjoy this. You have a Nature's Prophet who could TP down here if need be. But you're also level 3. Or sorry, level 5 with level 3 dual breath. You're almost at level 6. You probably could have bought the tome when you were dead, by the way. But that means you can defend this. Necrophos, not really good at taking buildings on his own. And his ult is down. Disruptor, good against fleeing enemies, but enemies just standing under the tower, he doesn't do too much against. So you're just going to stand here, dual breath waves, while Anti-Mage goes and farms. Look at Anti-Mage right now. He's like feeling awkward, right? He's getting pressured. He's not really like last hitting freely. Let's see this next wave. How many last hits does he get here? Oh, they left. All right. Okay, if they had stayed here and pressured him, he would be contested. This is kind of okay because they left. I don't think they should have, though. Nice. All right. All right, all right.
Is an abomination. Radiant's mid tower could use a
Don't ice path if you don't need to. You are a little low on mana. As long as she's away from the tower, you're fine. I don't mind this dual breath. I lately have been trying Tranquils into Soul Ring on Jakiro. Give it a shot. I think it feels really good. And I think you can get away with it in your pub games for sure. Because there's definitely going to be a lot more extra farm around the game for you than there is for me. So you just go Tranquil, Soul Ring into whatever you usually do. So like, this case you're going Yules. I think Yules is okay. I think Glimmer's really good this game. Glimmer against the... Actually, all their cores have very strong magic-based damage. But specifically, this Necrophos, very obvious when he uses ult on someone. So you see this massive scythe appear out of nowhere on a teammate who suddenly gets stuck, and there's a circle around them. You just Glimmer them, and then they'll take way less damage from the ultimate. And if this doesn't get a kill, this hero is a lot less strong in team fights. The way this guy functions is he wants to delete one hero really quickly, get crazy amounts of regen from wherever it is now. It's on his, what, Heartstopper aura? Yeah. He gets crazy amounts of regen because a kill gives him, like, max stacks, and then it becomes really hard to fight the Necrophos. So if you save whoever from Reaper Scythe, even if they die to another hero, it's good, because Necrophos does not get the crazy regen. So then he's just a lot weaker in fights. So I think this would be an excellent Glimmer Cape game. So we'll put a note down for itemization can be improved. Again, the warding a little. This ward itself is not bad, but if you're going to place the ward, drop a sentry first, because what if they have a ward here and they just see you, right? This can get removed. You've already got 4 sentries, so you can spare one to put here just to make sure that this ward is likely to survive. Yeah, and then like this location itself, I don't really have any issues with. You could make a case where like you put it back here if you want to pressure this tower, but Zeus might check this area because it's quite common. This area is kind of common too, though, so I guess it doesn't really matter either one against the Zeus. You could also put it a little weirder, like over here. This would be okay too, and let you spot like Spirit Breaker rotating in from this area a little sooner than over here. But all in all, not bad. I'm gonna give it like 70%. Extra 20% if you put the sentry first, and then the last 10% is like nitpicky other locations. All right, so see again. You've got 2 wards really close to each other. You know, what does this ward tell you that this ward does not, or vice versa, right? It doesn't really help you. It's better to spread them out a lot further. Especially because this one is like really close to the lane, so like half the time you have this vision anyways.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
Oh, some teammates dying.
Mid tower ain't doing so good.
Let's go back a little bit. So I don't know what's going on with the other heroes all dying at once, but this Luna is straight up taking your tower completely uncontested, and you're not really doing anything right now. So this is definitely a place for you to go. You TP here, dual breath, macro pyre if you need to defend this tower. You get some farm for yourself. You protect your towers.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
All right.
Radiant's bottom tower's
Yeah, there's the mana issues. It's because his stuff has gotten some nerfs over the last like year or so, along with like a hidden nerf where his int gain got nerfed. So his mana pool and marginal mana regen from int is worse. And then Yule's also got mana regen nerfed, so it's a lot harder being a Jakiro nowadays. So I think the Soul Ring really helps a lot with his mana issues. Give it a shot.
Dire's top tower.
Okay, going for runes. Your team should be able to do the tower on his own.
The Dire might want to mine that top tower.
See some stuff going on bottom, but you're not checking it. So that's another one. Herald map awareness, you know? I'm just kidding, man. Map awareness is tough. But it'll definitely help you know where to be if you can keep an eye. Nice ice path.
Radiant's mid tower.
But for example, if you were paying more attention to map awareness, could have protected the mid tower and could have maybe like been in the bottom fight a little sooner. Some other like random fights going on too, but I don't know if you had to like respond to all those. Stack. You tried at the end. I think you got distracted for like a second. I think you were trying to pick out a neutral item.
Radiant's top tower taking hits.
Alright, gotta... Is this some dangerous positioning? Dangerous warding? I think you should have just taken that regen rune. Yeah, so you're just Okay, this is like the common theme. You're just placing a lot of wards right next to each other. You generally only need one in a given area unless you're trying to play in that area very aggressively. So like sometimes you might see a ward here and a ward here, or like a ward here, or like in the jungle, one here, one like here, one here. The reason you do that is because you're trying to play very aggressively in the dire area, and having vision all in this area is very critical to take good team fights here. I mean, what are the odds a team fight breaks out here at 20 minutes? You know, not so common for you. You just need to see, like, one person coming to invade. Like, let's say Anti-Mage is farming here and he's a little low. You need to see a Spirit Breaker charging in, or you need to see Necrophos coming in to ult, so Anti-Mage can blink away. But then, once Anti-Mage blinks away, it doesn't really matter if you see the Necrophos, like, here versus, like, here, right? If he disappears from this ward over here, you know he's still in this area, and if he leaves, then you can see him leaving in the ward. So you don't need to see his exact position in this area. You just know he walked in through here, and I haven't seen him leave through here, and I have a tower here, and I have a tower here, which means he's in this area. So usually, defensively, placing wards so close together is not ideal, unless the enemy is, like, always on your half, sieging you kind of deal, and you are trying to, this is your, like, last place you're trying to defend. But I don't feel like you're at that state of the game. You see, like, there's still towers around the map. Like, you can still play in different parts. So instead of knowing exactly where Necrophos is here versus here, it's good to know if there's, like, one hero in their jungle. It's good to know if there's one hero in your jungle. So that's why it's, like, one-ish ward in, like, the different areas is good. Like, one ward for each quadrant. And then if you're playing in one area, you could put a couple more. And you don't always have to have one in each quadrant, to be clear, guys. But that's a better approach than having two in the same defensive spot. Or two in, like, the lane right here. I want to say a couple positional deaths, but also you're against, like, a Spirit Breaker Disruptor, so it's tough. It's really tough to position against those guys. I don't be too hard on it. I do feel like your team's not quite playing together. I think you guys had a strong start. Or at least you did in the bottom lane. Feel like we could have transitioned that into something, but instead the enemy is getting a couple, like, more kills than they should. Right, this is where having those edge wards really helps, right? To just have a chance at seeing Spirit Breaker running through it, and then being able to say, oh, look, like, draw a line. This is where Spirit Breaker was going. You, like, look down, you're like, who's it going to? If it's going to you, you're like, I should back up somewhere safe. Haha, you got the shard. I haven't seen it. I've only seen it, like, once since it came out. I don't think it was even my game. I think it was watching someone. I don't want to be too harsh on the deaths. I'm honestly not that worried about them. I feel like when you are improving, this is my own philosophy, I guess, but especially for Herald. Boom, Glimmer Cape that guy. I start at the beginning of the game and go from there. Like, it doesn't make sense to improve your late game decision making if there are holes in your early game. So for you, I feel like the early game rotation is number one. Your laning stage was excellent, so it's like, okay, we can leave that for now. After you rise up in MMR, and then we have to nitpick the laning a bit more, you know? But for now, for Herald, this was really good laning. The pulls, the stacks, all that was good. Next, the warding is kind of the next step. It's kind of like a continuous step, but since it needs work, we might as well mention it. The warding, one defensive ward for the AM, and then we walk away. And then that walking away, that rotation after you win a lane, like, that's so big. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, and it doesn't always work either. That's the tough part. It doesn't work because sometimes the enemy doesn't respond properly, depending on your MMR. But I think it's still a generally good habit to get into. And the reason you walk is so you can teleport home to help him. Or not home, but teleport back to the safe lane to help him. But at the same time, you're, like, actively doing something. You're stacking as you walk. You are securing a rune as you walk. You're then pressuring the top lane, forcing more people top. And starting off on the right foot is just so big for your team. And so I feel like that's the main place where you... Like, that's where I want you to start trying to improve. And I'm debating if, like, we just stop now. Because I don't want to overload you with too many things. Because, like, trying to figure out your late game decision making here when, like, your decisions wouldn't be as hard if your team was ahead. We'll watch a little bit more, though. Because you are still only 2k behind, your team could win. So let's see. Actually, real quick, let's take stock. So we do need to figure out, can your team still win? Anti-Mage doing okay. His farm's not bad. The items are so weird. It's like a different world down here. Theirs were okay. Oh, this is a little weird. Yours are pretty solid. Do try the Tranquil Soul Ring, though. I think you'll like it. I'm liking it a lot. Okay. Well, Anti-Mage just died. But technically, the longer this game goes on, the better it should be, because Anti-Mage is a really good hero against magic damage, and they're like all magic damage. So, thinking about your job, that's why I think the Glimmer's really good. Passive mana or magic regen, magic resistance for you, and then the active to save certain teammates. You don't want to, well, actually, I was going to say you don't want to walk out on your own because you can die pretty easily. Like, going out this far on your own against a Spirit Breaker is pretty scary. Getting Luna ulted is kind of worth it. Luna BKB! Oh, that's value. I'd totally trade my position 5 life for a Luna ult BKB at 25 minutes. Worth it. We'll consider that intentional. Yeah? Oh, so close. I understand TPing for going for the Spirit Breaker. Kind of think you don't need to, though. Because this TP to the outpost takes so long, Spirit Breaker's probably dead or out by the time you get here. Because he could just charge to another lane, or he dies, or he TP's out like that, and you don't really get a chance because you take so long to TP here, plus you have to let him run around the cliff. So I'd probably just look, like, what else can you do? Mid lane needs defending. And you TP'd here, this guy's dead. These guys don't have TPs because I think they used it. Nature's could do it. But I would love for Nature's to be playing on the more aggressive side, which means you have to be doing the, like, defensive stuff to encourage him to be more aggressive, because he can be aggressive more safely than you can. So it's like, okay, one person needs to be here and one person needs to be here. Who do I want it to be? Nature's Prophet can do both, but you only want to do this one. So, like, you should come do this one, so then Nature's is more likely to go out there. He might die against a Zeus Spirit Breaker in this particular game, but in general, he's the better hero for that kind of activity. This is also a good time to ward, though it looks like you don't have any on you right now. I don't know if I want to join this fight if I were you. I am just leaving this guy. If you're worried about hitting Ice Path, by the way, on Jakiro sometimes, you've hit most of them. But in chases like this, when someone's running, and it's like, how do I hit all these heroes? Just hit, like, a general rule, because sometimes it does depend. Like, in this case, maybe you do need to hit the Disruptor so he can't glimpse someone. But as a general rule, Ice Path like this way, so that you hit Luna. And if these guys want to keep chasing, you don't hit them. But if they want to run at the Abaddon, they have to run into your Ice Path. And otherwise, they have to wait here, which is time for Abaddon to run away. Or they have to take a different path, which should take longer, should give him a chance to get away. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Yeah, the game is just gonna be like, let's get anti-mage farm. Defend lanes, you need to push the lanes to, you know, make things happen. All right, we got a bunch of wards. Lots of kills happening. The anti-mage is kind of doing it. All right, I'm you. You could die to these guys, but it'll be a little slow. These guys are not like, okay, Zeus kind of, but you know, you run into like Luna or Spirit Breaker, you're like bashed to death, killed pretty quickly. These guys take longer, and you can like sort of get away if you like Yules and like run or something. So what you do, you run this way. Beep, 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 boop, boop,
Radiant's
boop.
mid-tower's getting
Maybe
banged
drop a
up.
sentry like here to check if they have any wards in this area. Actually, this is a great example. Notice where their ward is here. So if you want to invade this area, you walk through here, drop a sentry like in this area to see if they have a sentry here. And if they don't, just like, I don't know, ward here, one of these areas. When you're against a Zeus, try not to put them too close to the camps or the cliff spots because it's very common for Zeus to check high grounds, and then like if he's farming, he might use it. So if you keep the wards a little further away, like that's why like over here is kind of like in between these camps, hopefully. Maybe over here, right? It's not too close to this camp, and this isn't that common of a warding spot. That way you have like one deep ward, and then you leave the area. Be careful not to run into the outpost. If you're going to run through here, you have to deward this and try. And this is risky because if they see you and Spirit Breaker's respawning, they charge you, they're going to kill you. But if you die in an attempt to deward, it's like it's not the worst. You'd prefer to try to deward safely, but like, you know, he was dead and 2 others are dead. So it's like, as far as like attempting to deward the enemy jungle goes and to place your own deep wards, this is a relatively safe time and you have to take the risk every now and then. And this is a game where it's like, I think it's okay. As long as like, if they're killing you, they're not killing Anti-Mage. So it's like, you're on opposite sides. So if they're all up here, then Anti-Mage is safe to like keep farming this area. So I'm like kind of okay with you risking your life here. And then that would place like 1 ward, maybe 2. You have decent vision here. Now you can go somewhere else. Oh, nice kill. Nice. All right, Anti-Mage is actually at the point where he's really strong. I would just keep playing around him. I would tell your team, like, let's just go around the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage can win right now. I mean, not like right now, but like, you know, you could probably do Roshan soon. You could do Roshan right now, actually. Next time you have a couple people dead, Roshan. This could be one of those times. If you can't get the coordination to do it yet, then like, you know, next time. Just keep an eye on like whatever Anti-Mage is doing and help him out. Yeah, perfect. So it's like, oh, he's being charged, stun for him. He's trying to hit this guy, stun for him. Yules him, glimmer him, whatever. He's the strongest hero on your team, so that's all we care about.
Tis mine.
Your wards are always next to each other. Your wards always overlap. Another one. That's definitely one thing to think about, man. Trying to keep the wards not overlapping is ideal. Not always bad, but as a general rule, try to keep them farther apart. So like, if you put one here, and oh, it turns out they have a ward there. That is something you should sentry, by the way. Or put your sentry here and ice path up the high ground. But you see how like, this is your observer 1, and then this is the other one. So they like overlap a ton. So what if you instead place this one here, and then that sees to about, well, actually you can see if you just put out the other side of the radius. So you put your observer here, you see up to here with this ward here, and then this ward sees up to like about here. And now they're like, now you have really good vision and they're not overlapping too much. And if someone wants to deward them, they have to like check 2 very different areas. Whereas like someone might luck out. I think a sentry like in this area could actually probably get both of these. That's another reason why you never want them to overlap. Oh, by the way, if you feel like the invisibility of the Glimmer Cape isn't worth it against Zeus and Spirit Breaker, that is true. That can be a consideration. But against Zeus and against this amount of magic damage, just the magic resistance. I don't know why I had that weird emphasis there. The magic resistance of the Glimmer Cape totally makes it worth it, this game. Even if you can't use it as an invis escape, even if they're revealed in their invis, if they are invisible, they're getting bonus magic resistance from the item. Don't forget the mech. Maybe you could have saved the guy. Maybe he still dies. Yeah, this is a really good magic resistance game, though. He did build a pipe. I was going to say if he didn't have a pipe, you could build one. But yeah, Glimmer's the next thing I think of for you. Look at this, man! You gotta, you gotta. This is like 1 ward, 2 wards worth of vision through 4 wards, right? So if you just did this one here and then this one here, you would see almost all of this exactly the same, and you would save this ward and this ward. I don't mean to tease you too hard on it, but it's like, it's a pretty easy. I wanna like make it obvious enough where it's like, once you stop doing this, it's a pretty big improvement. Instead of having 4 wards here, you have the 2 and then you have 1 here. Like, that can really change a game, being able to see more of the map. So that's definitely one of them. We'll highlight it all at the end. We'll do our little summary. But I think I don't know, actually. Maybe we do see the end. I think we might skip forward a bit. Actually, let's check the... Oh, this does generally work its way into a win. Okay, maybe we don't need to see the rest of it. Let's go until you guys, like, take high ground, maybe? Uh-oh. The big thing I'm noticing is you guys aren't doing Roshan. Though I have heard from you guys how it's like herding cats to try to get teams to Roshan sometimes. So I don't know. If you tried to call it out, I don't blame you. But I haven't seen you, like, ping it or anything, so I don't fully know if it's on your radar either. So definitely keep that in mind. Keep the, after you get a good team fight, you do Roshan. Oh, this is a good example. I don't know if you placed this ward or whoever else did, but you see how they're, like, these don't overlap at all. I don't think. Oh, overlap ever so slightly. That's okay. Good enough. And, like, up here. So you see this, like, triangle of vision here? Sorry, I won't jump around too much so it doesn't, like, make you guys sick. This triangle of vision right there. Ah, damn it. It just died. Hold on. We got to go back. This triangle of vision right there. This is really good. Because it takes 3 sentries to get all of these, right? You're never going to overlap and accidentally get 2. And you have really good... First, this one's pretty deep. So it's like, oh, I see Spirit Breaker charging. You have lots of time to react. Or you want to play on this left half of the map. You see, like, a lot of it. Yeah, there are some empty areas, and let's go to your vision. Let me triangle fade a little bit here. Oh no, why isn't my drawing fading? It's just like permanently stuck. Okay, there we go. Let's go back now. All right, so let's say you want to play in this top half of the map. You don't see this part of the mini map right here, but I mean, if you see a guy walk through here, and then you're like, okay, he's in this area. And he doesn't show up over here where you have another ward. And he doesn't show up over here. There's only so many places he could be, which is that he's waiting here. He like, for whatever reason, snaked his way through here without knowing where your wards are. Or he teleported somewhere. So, like, even without perfect vision, you can infer the rest. Like, these are my data points, and then I extrapolate what I don't see. So that's why, like, you generally don't need the wards to overlap. Even if you, okay, so we lost the triangle, but we see these 2. Like, isn't this still tons? This is a lane ward, which is like, okay, sometimes it's not so useful. In this case, you see when your lane's not pushed up, it still gives you vision here, which is pretty nice. You see, like, if they're not gonna respawn and walk down mid, what else could they do? They could walk down this lane, which eventually you would spot them with this ward if they, like, come through here. A lot of times they're going to, like, head their way to the jungle, and this ward will spot 2 of these camps pretty much. That's pretty good. What if someone wants to, like, walk in between to the other one? Then you'll see someone with this ward. And if you don't see, like, any heroes with these 2 wards for a long time, then they're probably in this bottom part of the map. Or they smoked up. That's why having, like, spread out vision's a lot better. Because you can, like, make better predictions. Alright, that's the Roshan. I'm going to see you guys use the Roshan, and then we might end. Actually, it looks like we might as well, we got through the whole game anyways. All right, so what's going on right now? You may not control the rest of them, but you can at least control yourself. Follow the anti-mage. Whatever he's doing, just be near him. If he's taking this tower, for whatever reason, like, I don't think it's good for him to be doing this either. But if he's up here, you're up here. Yeah, this guy just lost Aegis for nothing. But your team also kind of like, why aren't you with him kind of deal. Right? He might even die again here. Yeah, and you're like on your half of the map. So this is bad. After you get Aegis, just keep being with your team. And you need to like beeline it to them.
Dyer's bottom rags ain't
You know all the enemy heroes are over here. You don't have to take like a safe path. Just like beeline over. This ended up being like a very awkward high ground. It's kind of working out though, because you guys are pretty ahead at this point. You ended up dying, but it's not too bad. Like, your death, it was like you or one of your two other cores there, right? So it's like you dying is fine. But then there's no reason that, like, it's not your fault at this point, but like anti-mage dying top, like, after all of that, with the Aegis, with like 15k plus advantage, you guys got one barracks. Yeah, you got the T3s, but the T3s don't actually give you an advantage, right? You need the barracks for it to like be something. So there's no reason you guys can't like all just go down a lane and fight. If it turns into a 5-on-5, you just win, right? You got the pipe, you got the auras, you got Greaves, you got AoE stuns. This guy's super strong. If anyone's gonna rat, let it be Nature's Prophet who comes down here, rats the bottom lane while you guys are pressuring top, because the guy could TP back top if he needs to join the fight. But you kind of like don't want the strongest hero to be on his own, because even though, look, his net worth is all the way up here. He's clearly the strongest hero in the game. But if he's by himself, then the enemy team, you know, you add up their net worths, and suddenly it's like, you know what? They're actually a lot stronger than a solo anti-mage. So there's no reason to leave him alone. If you can't get the rest of your team to go with him, and you can't get him to join the rest of your team, then you at least have to make the judgment call who's more valuable to be with. In this game, I would say it's anti-mage. In other games, maybe you just play with the other three teammates. But this is kind of a failed high ground, and I think we'll stop there. If we skip forward, it looks like you guys just slowly get to it. But I don't think that's something you need to like be that worried about. I want to see this lane. Yeah, this is great. So, let's even look a little sooner. Yeah, so, okay, summary time, guys. Your laning, pretty great for a Herald player. I think it's really solid. I don't think you have to worry about it too much. Once you kick ass in the lane, the way you're playing, look to move. So drop one ward to defend your carry, and then head out. In this game, it was a little weird because of the Zeus, so you have like a harder time warding. In other games, you won't have that issue, so just place it somewhere. We don't have to worry about perfect ward placement right now, but just like the general idea. One ward to protect your carry, and then you walk to the top lane, stacking along the way, maybe doing runes, ganking mid, whatever. Make your way top and start pressuring there. I think that is a really important movement. And I would honestly just focus on that for the next couple games. By couple, I mean however many it takes, really. And then warding is the other thing I really want to highlight. That a lot of your wards are overlapping right now. And so it's kind of a waste. And a lot of them are being put in kind of like obvious locations, I suppose. But also when the enemy is like really near and there's a good chance they see you placing those wards. So that's like not ideal. You want to kind of like sneak your way out. It's like a game of hide and seek almost, right? Try to collect information. This is why it's important to keep the warding has to be consistent. Because if you wait till all your wards are dead, then it's really hard. You don't see anything. But if you have like one or two wards still alive and spread out, you see a couple heroes bottom, and then you know it's like kind of safe to go top. So that's why it kind of has to be like a little bit consistent. You can, you know, sometimes place a whole chunk of wards at a time, but trying to place the next one before your previous ones expire should generally make warding easier. And then keep an eye on your mini map to see if like, am I overlapping too much with the wards right now? So those are the two major things to improve on. And then the small things I'll mention are, you know, map awareness. Everyone needs to work on map awareness. I need to work on map awareness. It doesn't matter what rank you are, map awareness will always need a bit of work and improvement. And in this case, like you lost a tower for free that I recall, a little slow to some fights, and that comes from the map awareness. And then getting your team to do Roshan and then playing with the strongest hero. So at the end there, we saw that you were just kind of kind of doing other stuff while Anti-Mage was like on his own and he died. That made the game harder than it needed to be. So just following the team a bit as a support, and you just close it out by enabling your carrier, right? You did the start, you got Anti-Mage a great lane, you made space more or less while Anti-Mage farms, and then to close it out, you just need to like throw out a couple stuns, like Yule's a guy for him, Glimmer him maybe, just like some small stuff, but let yourself be carried. But to do that, you gotta be there to like help him out just a little bit. And then he can finish up the job for you. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.